welcome to FinOps Decoded. Thank you for spending your time to watch our short presentation. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Kevin Scheer. I've worked in IT for the past 13 years in different areas, with the past 3 years solely dedicated to working as a FinOps analyst on our team. Now I'm going to go around to the other presenters and let them introduce themselves.
Thank you, Kevin. Matt Mazer, 25 years of IT experience, a large background in project and program management, and then most recently, the past 3 years have been focused on cloud FinOps.
My name is Keith Hiszem. I've spent the last 25 years in accounting and most recently in IT, and most recently as a billing admin on the FinOps team.
All right, excellent. So this presentation was created as a final project for our FinOps professional certification. All three of us on the call created an ebook with the overlying subject of, if we were to go back in time 3 years, what would we tell ourselves to make our FinOps journey even more successful than it already was. So this presentation is geared towards newcomers and veterans in the FinOps community. This slide deck and the ebook, which has more in-depth analysis of what we're talking about today, there should be links to access them on this website. So if you want to take notes, you can, but there will be other options for you to take this material down. So let's get started. So for our agenda today, I'm going to start it off by talking about the definitions, which will be talked about during this presentation, and also talk about role players, how everything fits together within the FinOps team, FinOps community that we work in. Then Matt is going to talk about what makes an effective cloud champion and how to evangelize FinOps, as well as educating the masses. And then Keith is going to bring it home with presenting FinOps to the masses, shadow IT and FinOps, and he's going to wrap it up with our conclusion. So just as an overview, some of the definitions that we're going to talk about in this presentation that we currently defined and worked with, our main one is a cloud champion. So our cloud champion is it's a central point of a team. They are in charge of optimizing the cloud. They're trusted by leadership and they drive cost efforts. Your cloud champion, you could kind of think of if you're working in a team and you need to contact another team, who is your go-to person for looking at FinOps data so it can be optimized and just keeping up with everything that's going on in their area. That's what we refer to as a cloud champion. A FinOps analyst, which is the role that I have currently, what we do is we analyze cloud data, we report on anomalies, and we guide cloud champions and stakeholders. So we take a look at all the information that's presented to us across every team or every cost center that we work with, and we are in charge of seeing what's going on, the trends and anomalies in all the financial data that we get presented through AWS, GCP, or Azure. A financial analyst, this is Keith's position. They normally manage cloud finances, discounts. They collaborate with vendors and they optimize costs. So they also work very closely with the financial team, and they're mainly going into the cloud and looking for bigger ways to get discounts. So you're looking at committed use discounts, sustained use discounts. That's what a financial analyst on FinOps team would do. A FinOps engineer is more tech focused. They're developing scripts. They're looking into third-party tools that we use, and they support cloud champions to see if there's anything technical that they need to take care of within their area. And they also resolve issues if there's something going on with the third-party software that you might be using, or they're the first in line to see if there's something that changes with cloud that can affect any of their scripts. So it definitely, they're kind of your first line of defense on if there's anything wrong with cloud, they're going to let everybody else on the team know. And then finally, what Matt is, a FinOps manager. The FinOps manager can be considered as someone who bridges FinOps between our team and senior leadership. They also guide strategy throughout the fiscal year. They come up with plans on how we're going to kind of attack our optimization goals. They're also in charge of communication, and they oversee the agreements between AWS, GCP, Azure, etc. So those are the definitions, and how do these all kind of correlate together? Basically, everybody on this team, all the definitions have a reason. It's that we're all role players, right? FinOps is everybody's responsibility, and basically, if you take one of those key components out of our definitions, it doesn't really work that well. So FinOps operates within a larger system that involves multiple roles as interconnected gears, and we need to collaborate between each other and to have a seamless alignment among roles in order for us to be successful. And the best way that we have found for this to be successful is to have a top-down approach. So as long as executive leadership is buying into FinOps, it's very easy for that message to be sent down through your team's hierarchy. And we also talk about how these interconnections are between our roles. They flow smooth. We kind of know where to go to if we need something. And the last thing is, for FinOps, we want to have continuous communication. So just as an example, things that we deal with every day, if something happens, who do we communicate that out to? If a cloud analyst, if a FinOps analyst sees something that's wrong, how are they going to communicate that to the entire business? Do they tell their manager? Do they tell their cloud champion? Or is it something that's going to be more technical? Are they going to have to contact the cloud engineer, or are they going to have to contact your financial analyst on your team? Usually what we have found is that if everybody is on the same page, if everybody's communicating with each other, the amount of time that it takes to resolve an issue or to get that message out is very optimized in terms of everybody in the business knows what's going on, and it can be taken care of immediately. So we just wanted to emphasize that even though that these are 5 different roles, they're very interconnected in the way that if you take one out, that's FinOps is going to be very hard to achieve in terms of optimization in your cloud. Matt, you want to take it for Cloud Champion?
Absolutely, thank you. So one of the things that we have found most effective is to have a cloud champion. A cloud champion is typically a resource that really has a strong understanding of cloud, and they are specific to either an application or cost center, depending on how your organization is set up. They are the primary go-to resource. They then work with their internal teams. They are the ones that are leveraging various reports, either daily, weekly, or monthly. They are looking at any anomalies, and they are really looking at and understanding their current spend and making sure it is optimized. And when we have seen active and engaged cloud champions, those cost centers or applications tend to have cloud spend that is in line with their budget, and VP or cost center owners are not getting any surprises. So an active, engaged cloud champion is key for good FinOps governance. Next slide. One of the items that we have looked at is how do we evangelize FinOps? So our current company is a very large institution, Fortune 100 company. So how do we get everyone involved? So we try to keep things as simple as possible, and we also try to tailor our approach to our audience. So some of the items that we try to avoid having meetings for sake of meetings. We try to let the data talk, And then we try to make sure that our reporting is always accurate, because this in turn builds trust in our numbers. Next slide. And then how do we educate? One of the items that we try and do is, again, the persona-based information, but it's really asking an individual what data sets they need to be successful, and then providing that data to them in a clear and concise manner. In order to make it easy on the FinOps team, we do have several core reports, and then we can do minor alterations or tweaks to have it, again, be persona-based reporting. Some of the other areas that we have found that we've had moderate amounts of success, we've held office hours where people can come with just general questions. Others can listen in to pick up best practices. We've had specific working sessions where if there's been a change, such as a change to a discount, change to a CUD, just a change in general, we've had specific working sessions. So those teams that are impacted could come and get their questions answered in a group setting. And then the last thing that I would recommend as far as educating the masses is really knowing your audience. So understanding that when you're presenting to a cloud champion, it's one set of data. When you're presenting to a VP, it's another set of data. And when you're presenting to the C-level, it's really knowing your audience and knowing the information that they need to make informed decisions going forward. Thanks. I'll hand it off to Keith for future slides.
Thanks, Matt. So presenting FinOps to the masses, much like Matt said about tailoring the information, to the audience, you want to make sure you understand who your audience is. Is it a C-level exec? Is a somebody else doing FinOps? Things like that. Regular communication is also key. They don't want to ask you for the information. Make sure you have a regular cadence set up and know what's coming up. And always seek feedback. There's always room for improvement. Business needs may change, things like that. So always seek feedback on how you can either improve your presentations or your information that you're presenting, or maybe it's changed. And also anticipate the questions. Sometimes it's easy to anticipate, where they're going or what's valuable, but try to anticipate those questions, be ready to answer them. And just make sure everything's really clear and concise, and what you're trying to present matches your presentation, matches your slides. People are visual learners, so anytime you can have graphs or charts or something that illustrates what you're trying to communicate or the data you're trying to communicate, it's going to be easier for people to consume and understand. And lastly, simple is better, less is more. Don't overcomplicate slides with pretty pictures of things like that, but simple is better in getting your point across. Next slide. All right, so in conclusion, executive buy-in is really important and crucial for the culture shift that is FinOps. Continually refine your message and adapt to, as data changes, as business needs change, continue to refine that process. Start small. You don't need to boil the ocean, but just small incremental steps will help FinOps progress at your company. And tailoring your message to whoever you're presenting to, whether it be exec or finance, understanding your audience and tailoring that information to them. Another important aspect is relationships, building strong partnerships across your organization. So you have people that you can go to for help, whether it be a finance-related question or a procurement-related question. But building that network within your organization is going to be incredibly important. FinOps offers tons of opportunities and is rapidly changing. There's always new tools coming out. There's always ways that you can press your knowledge and continue to push yourself and your company. And having those partnerships with other people who do FinOps in other companies is really important. And enjoy what you do. I truly enjoy FinOps and enjoy what it brings, and I'm excited for future opportunities in FinOps, and think as companies continue to migrate to the cloud, there's just going to be a lot of opportunity there. And lastly, just making sure your information is simple, concise, less is more. Just really make your message impactful for executives and the decision-making process. FinOps holds a lot of transformative power in how companies operate, and FinOps is going to be really key to driving a lot of those changes in the future. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you. And if you want any more information on this, we have more of an in-depth analysis on what we talked about in the ebook. You should be able to find it where you found this presentation. All right. Thanks a lot.